Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So my neighbors are out right outside my house, so if you hear any talking, that's them. And my doorbell might be rung a couple times, and I'm talking a little quiet because I don't really want them to hear me and everything I say. So that's that. But today's video is going to be all about why being a lesson kid or only taking lessons rocks. I don't know why, but a lot of people, including me, especially when I was a lesson kid, thought that just because you were a lesson kid and you didn't have your own horse or you didn't lease a horse, that meant you were uncool or you shouldn't be an equestrian or anything like that. And I really want that stereotype to be broken because honestly, if I could go back and be a lesson kid and only have to pay $40 a week for an hour lesson, I would love that. And my trainer at my old barn, she would let me come and muck stalls or help out the horses or help turn them out or whatever. She would help me do that or let me do that on a regular basis, which was super nice. And I got to spend time with the horses, but only $40. I don't know what's so uncool about that, but I think it's pretty awesome. You get to spend time with the horse, you get to ride them, and get most of your experiences depending on the barn. I really don't like those barns that tack up your horse for you and don't let you spend quality time with the horse. Because I feel like it's really important, especially if you want to have a good relationship with a horse, to spend time with it other than when you're making it work and bossing it around and doing whatever, because then it learns, oh, I'm not always around this person and working. I can actually enjoy my time around this person and just relax or hang out, not always doing work. But you also want to spend time with the horse while you're making them work and do whatever, because then they do kind of respect you and you learn to respect them, and they end up kind of learning that they can't just be all pansy pink all over the place, super nice and pretty all over you, you know? Like, they learn to be like, hey, I get to spend like quality time where they're not always on my back or making me work, but I can't just push them around and be all lollipops and rainbows with them, which is a really good relationship to have with your horse. That's why I just sometimes take Spice in the round pen and just let him be there and let him just roam around, and I just sit in the round pen with him in the middle and just watch him, and just he comes over to me, he lays down with me, does whatever, but we just get to relax and spend some relaxing time together, not me not always pushing on him and pushing his buttons and him pushing my buttons and having that bad relationship. So that's when it's really good, because when you're a lesson kid, when you get to tack up your horse and really spend that good time just brushing him. I know a lot of barns, they do let you come early for your lesson if that horse isn't like completely booked out or whatever, and they have lessons back to back or whatever, but they let you just either before or after your lesson just brush your horse and let your horse just be a horse, and you just get to spend time with it. And that's a lot of what I did. And while I was a lesson kid, I was super like not happy. I wanted my own horse and whatever, but not that I hate having a horse, not that owning a horse completely sucks, but there are those cons that really make you wish that you were just a lesson kid and you just took lessons, and the pros and cons you really start to think about as you're switching. The pros of being a lesson kid, not only for the horse but for you and your riding, is that you got to most lesson places, and lesson place that I really grew up at and really developed my riding was at a place where every week you would pretty much get assigned a different horse. I mean, you had kind of a main horse that you would ride probably 2 out of 3 times, but then those other times you would be riding different horses, and you would be getting that experience for all those different horses, and you would always know to start out light, because if you ended up on a sensitive horse and you had taught yourself to just use a bunch of pressure immediately to get them going, then you would know that horse would take off. So you always get that experience, and nothing teaches you better than the actual experience yourself. That's kind of what I know and how I learn best, just really hands-on. Obviously, I don't want to learn how to kill somebody hands-on, but I really think that's like a really good pro, and you really get to spend time with different horses and see different horse personalities and start to learn real quick and pick up real quick any horse's personality. And that really helped me, because now just looking at a horse for 5 seconds, I can know, hey, they're probably gonna push my buttons and try to push me around and do whatever, and I gotta say, hey, I love you and we can spend great time together, but you can't push me around and think that I'm just a jolly ball that you can bite and kick and do whatever with, and then I'm just gonna bounce right back to you. Or I could say, hey, I think that horse is a little like self-respecting, and they respect others a little easier, and they really help with things, and they're just pretty obedient horses. They don't really speak out that much. They just kind of are there. They could care less, but they're pretty nice or whatever. And there's those horses that are super energetic, super enthusiastic, and I can tell that in about 5 seconds because I dealt with different horses. Wow, I was a lesson. I just want to say to all of you lesson kids who maybe are getting a hard time from anyone that is kind of making fun of you for not having a horse or think you're not cool just because you take lessons, I just want you to know that just because you don't want to pay over $2,000 a month so you can ride a horse 3 times a week instead of 1 or 2, that doesn't mean that you're not a cool person or that you're not deserving to be an equestrian. And while they may have a little more commitment to horses and a little more experience, that doesn't mean that they're cooler than you or better than you or anything like that. I think that stereotype really needs to be gotten rid of, that just because you're a lesson kid and you only do lessons, that doesn't mean that you're a noob or you're a beginner or you're just a little girl who's still in the pony phase. That maybe just means that you don't really feel like going up there, or that's just not really your thing, or you're still in the pony phase, or you don't know when you're gonna want to get out of it, or anything like that. That doesn't mean that you're less deserving to be an equestrian than anyone else, and that doesn't mean that you should be mistreated by other people and made fun of. So if you're one of those people that does make fun of them, you need to stop, because while, yeah, you have your own horse and you're so cool, that doesn't mean that you're more entitled than anyone else. And everyone else can have an opinion too, and just because you have an opinion that maybe you're more deserving to be an equestrian, that doesn't mean that you should make someone feel that way. And everyone can have their own opinion, but when it starts to translate into mistreating of other people or animals or anything, that's when I really don't have that's when I really am not okay with opinions or strongly opinionated people. Anyway, I don't want to make these videos too long because I've been going back and seeing my old videos and they're super long and super hard to follow, so I hope this cleared things up and really helped any of you lesson kids who are getting a little trouble from people just because you don't have a horse. And I want you to know that just because you're a lesson kid doesn't mean that you have to move to owning your horse anytime soon. Don't change for anybody, and if you're happy where you are with taking lessons, then stay there. If you really want to move forward and whatever, do your best to move forward. Like, everyone moves at their own pace and everyone chooses to move. So if you're just happy with lessons, stick with lessons, because horses are super expensive, and unless you know for sure and are super crazy about moving past that and owning a horse, first of all, start leasing. Second of all, go for it. So do whatever makes you happy. Don't change for anyone else. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.